Assembly number 1, and it's the week beginning the 2nd of May 2022. Golly gosh, May already. Have you had a lovely 3-day weekend? I hope so. Shall we do our routine board? Yes. Okay. What's the time, Mr. Wolf? Well, I can see that the long hand, that's right, the minute hand is on the 6, and I know that means, you're right, it's past. past what though? Well, I need to look at the short hand. That's the hour hand, the one that's pointing towards the hour, and it's pointing towards, it's actually in between. It's in between the 12 and the 1. I know that I have to go to the second number, which is the 1. I put it all together and I know that says 1:30. Tricky, isn't it? But it is. It's 1:30. Mrs. Lee's stomach is rumbling because she's very hungry. What else is on our routine board? Well, I can see that the language of the month has changed. How exciting. The lovely Mrs. Turner has changed our board. Should we have a look? Ready? 3, 2, 1. Did you see it? That's right. We're learning the language of Portuguese now. Lots of people speak Portuguese all over the world. Do you remember? That was our Macathon last week. All over the world. Lots of people speak Portuguese. But I've put 2 flags up on our display because as well as Portugal, so this is the flag for Portugal, we know that in Brazil, lots of people speak Portuguese. And Brazil is the country that we're on our aeroplane journey. Can you remember? Who can remember how long it takes to get to Brazil on an aeroplane? Mrs. Smith told us. Yes, that's right, 11.5 hours. A long, long time. Do you remember going to Brazil on our Samba Day? We got all dressed up and we had our maracas. It was Samba Day. This makes Mrs. Lee very happy when I go into the research centre. What else is on our board, children? I can see the Macathon sign of the week has changed, but I know it looks very familiar. Bringing it close. Can you read this long word here? It says, celebrate. It's a really easy one to do. Put your fingers like this and you just move them to the sides. Celebrate. You do it. Celebrate. Now, why has Mrs. Lee thought about celebration? Well, we were celebrating with our samba, but also around the world this week, lots of people who are Muslims are celebrating Eid. I don't know if you can see, just down here, I've put lots and lots of books. Let's see if Mrs. Lee can bring you down for a moment. Can you see all these books? All these books are all about Eid. Now, Eid is our little tree. It's our religious education tree, isn't it? Now, you might already know about Eid because maybe you have been celebrating Eid because you are a Muslim. I don't know. Maybe you don't know what Eid is and you don't know what they're celebrating. So Mrs. Lee is going to tell you. So I'm going to show you this lovely little booklet Mrs. Lee found, and I'm going to put it on our display afterwards so that you can have a look at it before you eat your dinner. And Eid is a little bit about eating, because you know when Christians celebrate Christmas, they have lots of nice food to eat, don't they? And do you remember when we talked about the Chinese New Year? The Chinese, when they celebrate, they also have lots of nice food. And in fact, children, when most people celebrate a festival, they have lots of nice food to eat. Now, this little booklet tells you more. I wonder if you know what this building is. That's right, it's a mosque. Now, Eid has got a longer name, Eid al Adha or Eid al Fitr, and it means a celebration at the end of a very special time for Muslims. The special time is called Ramadan. Ramadan, can you say that? Ramadan. Now, in Ramadan, people who are Muslims do not have anything to eat between when the sun comes up in the morning until the sun sets. So all day long, they don't let any food pass their lips unless they're very little, or unless maybe they need to have food because otherwise they would be poorly. But they spend their time through Ramadan thinking about others, thinking about how to look after other people, thinking about people who, not like them, don't have any food. It's a really, really special time for Muslims. It's also very, very challenging. Imagine if you couldn't have any breakfast, any lunch, or any tea, and you had to wait until the sun set, and then you were allowed to eat. And that's what the Muslims do for a whole month, a very, very long time. But they know at the end of Ramadan comes Eid, which is a chance to celebrate and eat lots of food. And you can eat the food when you like, you're not stopped. Now, also during Eid, people will go to the mosque. And the mosque is a very special place. Like Christians like to go to church, Muslims like to go to mosque. It happens every year, Eid. All right? You see these children? They're thinking about Eid at the moment. And it's a special time because they think about the God, Allah, and they think about being obedient to Allah. They have a very special book. Do you know what the book is called? That's right, it's called the Quran. The Christians have a book called the Bible, and the Muslims have a book called the Quran. In it is the stories of Allah. Now, when Eid is celebrated, like I said, I don't know if you can see in this picture, lots of lovely, lovely food, and the Muslims give thanks to Allah. They say thank you to Allah for all the blessings that they have received. All right? Blessings means things that you're grateful for. So you're grateful for your family, your health, for the way you live, for all the happy things that Allah has brought to the Muslims. Now, Eid is also a time where presents are given and cards are given. And lots of people decorate things, and they also decorate their hands with mehndi patterns. Ooh. Happy Eid, everybody. Now, we're going to watch a short little video about a little girl who is celebrating Eid. And even though I've just talked about presents and cards, I wonder if you find out what the present she's going to get and how exciting it is. Are you ready to listen? 3, 2, 1.
It was the 5th day of Ramadan, the month of fasting, and Mum and I had just prayed the midday prayer. I'd been looking forward to Ramadan since last Eid, dreaming of all the delicious food, the trips to the mosque, and all the Eid presents. Ramadan was my favourite time of year. Last Ramadan, Dad came home from work early and helped Mum make yummy food while I waited impatiently for the call to prayer. That meant that it was sunset, Maghrib time to eat. But this year, Dad had told me that there wouldn't be lots of fancy food because money was tight. Times were hard and he had to work extra hours to make sure that he didn't lose his job. And to make matters worse, the baby was due and Mum could go into labour at any time. My Ramadan was ruined, all because of Ramadan baby. Mum must have seen my face change because she took my hand and said, "What's on your mind, sweetheart?" "It just doesn't feel like Ramadan, Mum. Dad's never here. You're not even cooking properly, and Eid is going to be rubbish with no presents." Mum looked at me sternly. Halima, if you think that Ramadan is about fancy food and presents, then you're right. Your Ramadan is ruined. But if Ramadan is about thinking about Allah and worshipping Him, if it's about giving to others, about being helpful and supportive, then you have a golden opportunity right now to stop thinking of yourself and to start putting others first. Good deeds done in the month of Ramadan get more reward, remember? Mum said, poking me with her elbow. Oh, all right, I said. I'll try. I went into the kitchen to prepare the iftar fruit tray. I sliced the bananas, cut the juicy oranges into quarters, and opened a new packet of dates. I filled a jug with water and poured milk into 3 cups. And that's when I realized, at least we were going to eat food once we broke our fast. Some people didn't have that to look forward to. So maybe, just maybe, Ramadan wasn't simply about fancy food. Maybe my Ramadan wasn't ruined after all. Maybe I could do Ramadan differently this year. I started the next day at school. I made Mum lie down after the mid-afternoon prayer, and I did things around the house. Little things, but things I knew would make her life easier. Now, and when Ramadan baby came, I tidied up my room, took my own clothes to the washing machine, loaded the dishwasher. Next, I decided to fast for the rest of Ramadan, non-stop, from sunrise to sunset, for the next 15 days. I got tired and I felt hungry, of course, but somehow I was okay with it. I knew why I was doing it. I had been so busy, I had hardly noticed the moon getting thinner and thinner. Every day we expected Mum to go into labour, for Ramadan baby to finally make an appearance. But Ramadan baby didn't come, and soon a new moon rose in the night sky and it was Eid! That night I fell asleep thinking of all the excitement of Eid. Mum had been too tired to bake all the things she normally made, and I was sure Dad hadn't bought lots of presents. But I didn't mind. I was just glad I had been able to help Mum so much. When Dad woke me up on Eid morning, he was breathless and grinning. "Halima," he practically shouted. "Come and see who decided to arrive on Eid." "What? Who?" I scrambled out of bed and saw a lady in a blue nurse's uniform going into Mum and Dad's room. "The midwife!" I ran to the door, and there was Mum, sitting up in bed, holding a little bundle in her arms. I gasped. There was my new baby brother, staring up at me, his dark eyes just like mine. I put my little finger into his tiny palm. "He's gorgeous, Mum," I whispered. Then carefully, I took my baby brother in my arms. "I have the best Eid present ever," I said, looking into my little baby brother's eyes. "Assalamu alaikum, sweetie. Eid Mubarak."
Oh, now we know more about Eid. And like I said, you can have a look at the books on Mrs. Lee's display and find out more. How exciting. Do you remember last week we were talking about the world because it was Earth Day? That's right. These are the 2 books that Mrs. Lee has read. Lots of children have been making posters. I said, come down, see if you'd like to come and make a poster. How about that one? That's a good one, isn't it? Lots of lovely drawings on that one. A really clear message on this one. Can you see? Fantastic spelling on our posters. Now, all of these posters, and I'm going to put them up. Now, if you think, oh, Mrs. Lee, hang on, wait 1 minute, I've got one. Don't forget, at lunchtime, you can come down just outside Mrs. Lee's office and then you can make a poster of your own. And if you give it to me, Mrs. Lee will use it in her display. And I think we should put them around the community to tell people to stop throwing their litter and look after our community. We're going to finish there with our school prayer. Remember, close your eyes if you want, put your hands together if you want, but you must all join in with the words. Help me to do the things I should, to be to others kind and good, in all my work and all my play, to grow more loving every day. Amen. Now I know that lots of the Muslims are growing more loving every day with all the hard work that they've been doing in Ramadan, and they've been celebrating at Eid. I wonder if you can celebrate Eid with people. Maybe you could say Happy Eid Maybe if you see Mrs. Ali around school, you might like to say to her, Eid Marabek, and I'm sure she will reply back to you. Right, have a lovely week, children. Hopefully the sun's out and we'll be on the field. Remember the golden rules, all 7 of them. Keep us happy and they keep us safe. Bye.